Sometimes husbands just don't see their mothers for the monsters they truly are. Today in rLounge, we hear from one poor soul who's suffering from the worst case of Stockholm Syndrome I've ever heard of. Can this daughter-in-law free herself from the claws of the beast? Stay tuned. Disrespectful in-laws, defensive spouse. Husband and I have been together for over 10 years. I come from a two-parent household with very supportive parents, and he would describe himself as coming from a broken home with parents who eventually remarried other people. While my family was very welcoming to him from the jump, financially, emotionally, etc., I was practically stiff-armed by his. My mother-in-law, to be specific. It has been over a decade of her being crazy temperamental and me walking on eggshells. The first few years, it was subtle things he claimed not to notice and accused me of reaching when I would point it out. Just a few examples. Talking loud on the phone to her friends or introducing me to her friends, making sure I heard her refer to me as his little friend. After 3 years of steady dating. Accusing me of trying to make the family look bad after helping her find a pro bono lawyer so she could get one of her grandkids out of a bad situation. Creating a social media account with only 7 friends and adding his ex who cheated on him with multiple people, but not adding me. But using the app to constantly keep up with me and bring up what she saw me post. Completely disrespecting and talking badly about my family because my then boyfriend was allowed to join in on a bill that she abruptly kicked him off of, insinuating we would use this to spy on him. These are just a few core examples that have set the stage. It's not always like this. You never know when she will do these hurtful things or become angry and lash out. It's been traumatic, especially because you never know what will trigger her or when she will decide to reciprocate the love I show. It got to a point where he could no longer lie and say he doesn't know what I'm talking about. Then it got to a point where he just expected me to ignore the disrespect and still became angry with me for bringing it up. He once got on her for being extremely disrespectful to me during the holidays. Then he became angry with me and said that now I get to go home to a happy family and his is ruined because he took up for me. Another go-to for him is, "What do you want me to do? I can't control my mom." I'm expecting a baby now, and I guess that has made me super protective and a new level of sick of all of this. Instead of being controlled by her, crying to him about what she does, and him promising next time he will defend me, I am setting boundaries. I'm refusing to go to places with the friends of hers that she has clearly poisoned against me. I'm not picking up the phone when I don't want to, not allowing pop-up visits. He has to meet them at the mall or something when they drive 2 hours here and call saying they are just in town. I also have really started pointing out when her and her friends do things. Yesterday I pointed out something that was rude and hurtful and he flipped out. He told me I was being condescending and basically smearing what she does to me in his face to make fun of him. He laughed over me for much of the convo. Told me he will record me next time when I complain, even though he agreed she was wrong. We made it through meeting up with his family, but the aftermath is all of my resentment for what he has allowed me to go through has come to the forefront. I realize all these years have only been semi-stable because I have kept my mouth closed in fear of making him mad when it comes to my in-laws. I should point out that he doesn't always get along with his mother. She has stolen money from him, talks down to him about what career accomplishments he is capable of. The list goes on. He has constantly referred to her as the B word. But when I point things out that she does when she does them, I'm trying to make him look bad. I need to let the past go. I tell him it's not the past, it's a pattern. He is refusing to take up for me or even just allow me to vent to him. I now feel like I just want to leave for a few days. I know that wouldn't be right while carrying his baby, but I'm hurt. My other option is staying out of the house as much as possible when he is there until I can shake this. Does anyone have experience similar to this? It's not right for me to suffer in silence. Do I just need to become okay with pissing him and his family off with my boundaries when they do hurtful things? It's like he chooses to be annoyed and blame me now because he's so used to me crying about it, him saying he can't control his mama, and her doing it all again because there are no consequences. Me not taking up for myself has been the band-aid on a crappy situation. OP, as much as you'd hate to, it might be worth trying to love your mother-in-law. Boundaries are fantastic, healthy, and absolutely necessary. Keep that up. Your mother-in-law does not have to be as wonderful to you as your mom. You don't need to be best friends. She doesn't need to be your confidant, but she is your children's grandmother. And she is your husband's mother. She's going to be in your life for a long time. Rather than getting into a power struggle, it can be so beneficial to just try to pursue a relationship with no expectations. Tell us if you've had a similar experience in the comments below. What did you do in your case? Meanwhile, moving on to the update. Mother-in-law announced my pregnancy and secret marriage. My mother-in-law is toxic in a million ways, but given that I'm not in the mood to write a novel, I will focus on a lack of respect for my privacy. My husband and I got married in private a few years back, with plans to have a public wedding later. Only immediate family was invited to a small ceremony and were told to keep it a secret. My mother-in-law slipped up the day of the wedding and confessed that she told her friends. Then she lied and said,
"No, I told them it was an engagement dinner."
We had been publicly engaged for 2 years at that point, and no one would buy that. Years later, she confessed to telling people. Now I am 10 weeks pregnant and have only told immediate family. She initially agreed she would keep it a secret, even said she was superstitious and wouldn't dream of saying anything until after the first trimester. She has told her friends. She lied and told my husband that her friends overheard me talking about it at an event, which I knew to be 1,000% a lie. Haven't even had my first ultrasound yet, and she has spread news that isn't hers. The kicker is she now is requesting permission to tell her distant relatives. Pretty sure she has already told them. My husband didn't address her telling her friends and redirected her to contacting me for permission, but she has yet to call. My husband is acting like telling her to not tell more people fixes the fact that she has already violated those boundaries. I want the fact that she already told her friends addressed. I'm literally fuming. I know how it will go. She will hold tight to the lie that her friends overheard and give a false apology based on that, not on blatantly ignoring our wishes. She is the Achilles in our marriage, and we just recently had a catastrophic fight involving her. How do I shut this down for good? It honestly sounds like your mother-in-law is trying to agitate you and provoke you into behaving rashly, which in turn will make her look like an angel. She's trying to get a rise out of you. Rather than reacting, try to ignore it. I know, OP, easier said than done. But try not to get emotionally invested. She feeds off your energy. If you don't give her your time or energy, she's got nothing to work with. Now for update 2. Husband confronted his mom about spilling the beans in regards to me being pregnant. I was willing to forgive and let go if she admitted she was wrong and took back the lie that people heard me because I was at an event talking about it. He told her I knew this wasn't true, and she leaned into the lie more by sacrificing her close friends. She now says I was talking about my pregnancy and named a specific friend who overheard and took it back to another specific friend. She feels she can tell this lie because I will let it go and there will be no consequences. She thinks that because they are her friends, I will feel like it's out of my control as far as holding people accountable. Let me reiterate that I know she is lying on them. I am just insulted that she blamed me and now is lying on her friends. So now I'm going to play her little game with her. I have now instructed him to tell her that since this was the case, friend A betrayed not only my husband and I, but her as well. She too should be upset. If she indeed did overhear something and my mother-in-law didn't run her mouth out of respect for my mother-in-law, my spouse and I, she should have kept her mouth shut and not spread what she heard to friend B. In a sense, she was gossiping about our family as a whole. He now has to tell his mom that friends A and B are not allowed anywhere near the baby showers or baby-related anything since they clearly lack respect. She normally finds any excuse to include these friends in our life events and loves to show off. So this will be a gut shot. This will also require my mother-in-law to tell more lies to us, and especially to her friends, regarding why they aren't allowed at the baby showers. My mother-in-law is cut off from any more information regarding the baby and is not allowed in the hospital room. We can negotiate when she can see the baby once we are settled at home. He will not be telling this part to her. It's just something she will find out as she asks questions with no response and is told not to come to the hospital. Also, she is to have no contact with me. He initially instructed her to contact me, but instead she wanted to tell him all the lies because she knew that wouldn't work with me. She's literally using me for her lies. So now she is to only have contact with him and not directly with me. This won't change her as a person, but will get her off my back, and maybe it will make her think twice before lying on me again. I just want my baby and I to be healthy and at peace. Hubby did not come up with any of these boundaries, but as he has a history of not defending me and depending on me to swallow my pride and take her punches to keep the peace, I honestly am beyond the point of caring what he thinks. Right now, me and my baby are priority. OP, you've got the right idea. You and your baby's health and peace should be your main priority, and you're 100% right that she will not change as an individual. But what you can change is how you react to situations. Make it clear to your husband beforehand that if his mother crosses a line with you in the future, you will have to remove yourself from the situation. You've done this perfectly with creating boundaries in terms of your mother-in-law not allowed you in the hospital room. You can't draw boundaries for your husband, but you sure can draw them for yourself. Once your mother-in-law sees just how much is at stake when her grandchild is born, she will question her behavior towards you. Like I said, OP, you have your whole life to share with this woman. Drawing the line now means protecting your power and your sanity. You're not only doing this for yourself, you're doing this for your child as well. What's important now is your little family that you and your husband have created, not the little lies that your mother-in-law tells everyone, OP. Focus your attention on the beautiful and abundant things ahead of you. Time for some community reactions. 3-Ring Crap Show starts us off. Don't forget that if her friends or anyone else asks on their behalf why they're excluded, tell them exactly what mother-in-law said about them. That she blamed them for spreading your private, personal, and medical information, which is why they are cut out of your lives. Make sure it's done publicly so everyone involved can start calling out your mother-in-law for the liar she is. The OP responds, absolutely. He planned on calling her tomorrow to tell her they are uninvited, but I had a thought. We don't even have a month or date for when the baby showers will be. I don't want to give her a head start on lying to her friends about why they can't come or trying to guilt us into having her way. When it comes down to passing out actual invites, that is when he will break it to her. Not trying to ambush her, but also not trying to arm her with time. It will definitely take her by surprise, especially sprinkled in with all the other new restrictions and boundaries she will have experienced by then. One more comment from Crazy Mama of 2. Good luck. And just a FYI, you can register as private at most hospitals, and they won't give out any info to people who call fishing for info. Just make sure to tell the nurses that there is a baby crazy mother-in-law. Thank you for joining us today on rLounge. Before you go, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. We would hate for you to miss out on our next video. If you have feedback on today's content, please let us know in the comments below. We can't wait to hear from you.